Typically, the Mustang could be equipped with any combination of up to 6 machine guns, 10 rockets, maybe a bomb slung underneath the belly. If you fancy
the glider being the gorgeous Elliott's of Newbury Olympia 2B, and this an incredibly inspiring designed and made its first flight in 1938. It's originally a German design with advanced arms. It's originally been known as the Olympia Miser being tipped. This being the winning glider in a contest to create the standard glider to the plan answer.
First flew in March of 1935 was finally the last example retired from RAF service in the late 1960s, like 1968 I think it was. Used for maritime patrols. Scooter flying today in the colours of the Central Flying School aerobatic team, circa mid-1930s. There were some problems.
Easy view as to when the aircraft were flying inverted as opposed to erect.
Currently some 250 airworthy examples of the summer model flying around the world. Something approaching half that number still active in Europe.
Yeah.
And I know for many people, including the sound of those 50 major engines on a summer's afternoon is...
That's better than
Right, that was well done.
Look at the airplanes.
Predecessors had offered the relative comfort of the closed cockpit. Post-military service, many found their way into civilian hands, although there was a CAA directive a couple of decades ago that meant actually turned out to be fairly unnecessary modifications to the tailplane, which put it beyond the means of many a would-be chipmunk owner. However, plenty still in civilian hands, popular with gliding trucks because they make an excellent towing platform and gliding tow. Often re-engined with a Lyconic up front.
And this one, brilliant. You put me in the colours of the Royal Canadian Air Force. UK flying services that operated the Chippy.
The sound of the engine just drifting away into nothing is just wonderful.
And delightful.
One of the nice things about the layout of the airfield here, you get a different perspective with the dogleg that's possible around the control tower and that short upper runway that the chipmunk has just touched on.
Left airworthy in Europe. All the more remarkable that it should have been operated in private hands on the display circuit, despite all the effort and expense doing so since 1975. In fact,
The Lockheed Ranger Works team went further, California. That's used in a number of roles stateside before being operated in Europe, like even at the UK. You forgot the word frightening, because we see these aircraft in peacetime being displayed in all their glory at air shows such as this, but of course there is nothing glorious about taking to the skies in mortal combat, as those 79,000 airmen who gave their lives found to their cost. But as Ben said, the aircraft was highly respected by crews because it could take a real pounding, and if you do a Google type search, and other search engines are available, of pictures from the wartime years of damage caused to flight.
Yes, it was earlier this year the US Federal Aviation Administration mandated checks on all airworthy B-17s in an airworthiness directive relating to the aircraft spar attachments. Sally being given a clean bill of health, it took to the air again just over a week ago from its base at Duxford, ready to resume activities on the 2023 display scene. Involved daylight raids against German industrial facilities and transport and resupply networks, the likes of rail junctions and marshalling yards. And it was, as Mark said, a ceremonial parade in Berlin.
Such a distinctive looking aircraft, hard to see how they could have disguised it.
Targeting so precisely a particular motorcade using solely visual means would have been all but impossible. Of the design, as far as its performance was concerned, well, obviously, as you can see, is very highly streamlined. As you'll note, if the aircraft approaches head-on to you at any time, it has a very small frontal area.
Oh, right, okay, we'll have to do that.
What this aircraft achieved in winning the McRobertson air race was a true triumph in British aviation. Some perhaps bemoaned how Britain hadn't produced a commercial aircraft with the performance of the Douglas Hill overall, but it was a matter of great national prestige nonetheless, and it really was a demonstration of the
formerly North American Navian or Navian, as you prefer, a single engine. The thing is, with just 43 examples of this ever having been built, very few of them still in airworthy condition, it's a worthy inclusion of the displays here at Old Warden, because we do like to bring things that are a little bit different.
It's a range in excess of 750 miles and good capabilities in terms of being able to operate from rough or short fields. 1,100 of them were turned out by North American Aviation before Ryan bought the design rights in 1947. They built about 1,240 more, and then various other companies took over manufacturing after that. Very early on in its life, the Navian was procured by the US Army as the L-17 for liaison, courier, light transport and communications duties. Non-official description of it, a flying staff car, which is very apposite, and they were used also in the Korean War between 1950 and 53 for forward air control and casualty evacuation missions. They were even able to fly off the decks of US Navy aircraft carriers. Quite a few of them came to Europe for use as staff transports with the Commander-in-Chief of US.
Yesterday shows, basically Saturday evening shows, Sunday afternoon, through the summer, running through until October. In actual fact, there's always plenty happening here at Old Warden, and even on non-flying days by private operators. Yes, many are on this registered worldwide. Definitely first power. Aircraft stylishly aerobatic, often described by pilots who underwent their training on them as a flyer's machine. Westland with this very distinctive high-wing monoplane with large undercarriage spans, plenty of cockpit glazing for pilot and observer. It also carries 6 bombs on the stub wings that can be mounted on the spans, and that unusual wing design was the result of role experience passed on by RAF pilots, which highlighted above all the need for an excellent field of vision from the cockpit. Powered by a Bristol Mercury air-cooled radial engine, that as he might look a little bit cumbersome, but it had a number of design improvements on previous aircraft that gave it quite staggering performance. It had fully automatic wing slats, for instance, and a variable incidence tailplane, which gave the Lysander a stalling speed of under 6. And excellent short mostly on a weekly basis as the war unfolded. As I said, this aircraft flew itself into the annals of aviation history thanks to its air taxi roles with the Special Operations Executive.
Yes, before that, its original Army cooperation role, when deployed to France.
There is a very interesting book, and I've mentioned it before, and I've got a copy somewhere, but I don't know if it's still in print. It might be an internet search. It was called The Bedford Triangle. It was written probably 2.5 decades or so ago by a Norwich-based fireman and a keen amateur historian, and it pieced together the history of the special operations that took place in this general area, both the final training period for the Joes and their flights from airfields within East Anglia.
Lysander's were also used quite a lot as target types for gunnery practice. Not just by the RAF either. The Fleet Air Arm of the Royal Navy.
Preparing for the next show, it's taking into account the long-term survivability of this aircraft and what needs to be done to fix it. Spot with the promised in the sky, looking at it on the ground, you can see the development process that led to the eventual jet burst in the late 1950s and early 1960s.
Slightly strange one, because they wanted to make the step up easy from the primary trainers like the Chico to the advanced trainer, the Harbour. In truth, this aeroplane really was a perfectly good advanced trainer in and of itself, far from typical of a trainer. In fact, it's the colours worn by a provost that have been sold to the Sultan of Oman's Air Force, and it wore RAF roundels for its delivery flight.
Any more air shows to plan for this year?
Yeah.
Maintained by peasants operating from roughly prepared strips, had to cope with sub-zero temperatures, so it's got an air compressor starter system for that reason. A general purpose biplane for both the military and civilian markets. But there was one role that it's forever remembered for. Psychological impact of them attacking from out of nowhere in the dead of night or just before dawn, that period when psychologically the troops would be at their weakest, their lowest ebb, deprived of sleep.
There were all sorts of different. The first of them was intended for fighting locusts and other plant pests which had become a real plague in southern areas of the Soviet Union during the early to mid 1930s. There was one with an enclosed, or rather several, but one version enclosed with an enclosed passenger cabin. More than 830 of those have been built by 1940. The nukes air ambulances with a raised fuselage top. Some of them had removable cabins for the purpose. And then there were many one-offs. One of them was fitted with a caterpillar type landing gear, chain of rollers about 50 millimetres in diameter and 3 metres long, arranged between guides along the sides, which only brought slight penalties in weight and drag compared to the original. There was one that was fitted with special skids, which were intended to turn downwind in any flight regime.
There were numerous Hero of the Soviet Union awards made to night watch pilots during the Second World War. After hostilities ended in Europe, the Polikarpovs were built by the Chinese under license. They were used by the Korean People's Air Force against the Americans during the Korean conflict as well. And one Polikarpov was also credited as downing a US jet, an F-94 Starfire, which dived on VO2 and was forced into the ground because the pilot simply throttled back and dropped below stall speed to try and engage Polikarpov, and it was history for him. I mentioned that the Germans used to call the aircraft the flying phone machine, sometimes combined harvesting with its agricultural sound. The Shevetsov 5-cylinder, 125 horsepower air-cooled.
And the Po-2 in the hands of Richard Crockett, also taking the Meadow landing options. We turn now to the Spitfire that we saw taking off a little while ago. 88 Czechoslovak pilots who made their way to the UK by various routes fought in RAF Fighter Command during the Battle of Britain.
could have.